How many stars do you see on the screen? Hopefully you said 5, or you may be colorblind. But those 5 stars mean everything in the world of college football. They're reserved for the nation's top recruits, the players who are supposed to make an impact on their teams, to set records, and to win awards. As history has shown though, being a 5-star recruit doesn't guarantee success. For every future superstar, there's another prospect who never comes close to living up to the 5-star hype. So today, I'm looking back at the biggest 5-star bust since 2005. In 2008, Notre Dame got the best quarterback of the class, with this being Dayne Crist. Crist was the 22nd ranked recruit in the country and where he went to a high school in California named Notre Dame, so it only made sense for him to commit. Freshman year for Crist though saw 0 game action as Jimmy Clausen held it down at the quarterback spot. Sophomore season wasn't much better, but he did see action in 4 games leading to 10 completions for 130 yards and a touchdown. However, that 4th game he saw action in a blowout versus Washington State. Crist tore his ACL, which caused him to miss not only the rest of the season, but all of spring practice as well. Thankfully for Crist, it didn't affect his junior season in 2010 as he was named the starting QB for Notre Dame. Crist started the first 9 games for the Irish where it wasn't the best. The team went 4-5 where he completed under 60% of his passes, having 15 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. Then just 364 days after he tore his ACL in 2009, Crist ruptured his patella tendon in a game against Tulsa. After another tough injury, it luckily didn't affect Crist as Brian Kelly named him the starter for the 2011 season. Yet at halftime in Notre Dame's first game against USF, he got benched after completing under 50% of his passes with an interception. Sophomore Tommy Rees started the rest of the season where Crist saw very limited action the remainder of his senior season. Now Crist's college career wasn't done. The NCAA granted him another year of football eligibility after his early graduation from Notre Dame in 2011. Crist decided to join the Kansas Jayhawks for 2012, which proved to be his worst season to date. 47.7 completion percentage and throwing more interceptions than touchdowns his lone year in Kansas. Injuries may have had an impact on Crist's ability over the years, but when he did play, Crist was nowhere close to that 5-star talent he was coming out of high school. Michigan thought they found the perfect running back in the 2013 class, and his name was Derrick Green. The 5'11", 234-pound Green was ranked as the 8th prospect in the country by Rivals.com. Freshman year, Green appeared in 13 games, starting just 1. Michigan favored senior Fitzgerald Toussaint this 2013 season, as Green's stats were only 83 rushes for 270 yards and 2 touchdowns. 2014 became a little better for Green, but he still wasn't the lead back the full year. Fellow sophomore Davion Smith split time with him the first half of the season, with Smith becoming the lead back the second half of the season, where it led to Smith having 26 more rushes, 48 more yards, and 3 more touchdowns than Green throughout the season. The reason why this happened though, is because Green broke his collarbone in the loss to Rutgers Game 6 of the season, causing him to miss the rest of 2014. This injury Green suffered and the hiring of Jim Harbaugh pretty much ended all hope for Derrick Green at Michigan. Davion Smith saw even more playtime, as well as backs Ty Isaac and Drake Johnson getting more reps. Green ended his 2015 season with stats of just 47 rushes, 157 yards, and 2 touchdowns. On top of all these players getting more touches than Green, and Michigan bringing in the top running back of the 2016 class, it led to Green transferring to TCU for his final college football season, where it wasn't any better than his last season at Michigan. TCU had 2 other running backs in front of Green all season, where he gained just 141 yards. Green ended his college career with just 1,039 yards, not very 5-star worthy if you ask me. Coming off their national championship run in 2013, the Florida State Seminoles brought in a few 5-stars, with one being Ermon Lane. Seen as a top 5 wide receiver in the country, Lane saw action freshman season in Tallahassee. Being the 4th receiver on the depth chart, Lane appeared in 11 games, totaling 13 catches for 267 yards for a team-leading 20.5 yards per catch. 2015 wasn't so kind to Lane though. Lane was allegedly playing/dealing with a stress fracture in his foot the entire season. Lane still played in all Florida State's regular season games, but it only led to him accounting for 6 catches for 50 yards all season. Not ideal. His junior season seemed to make his college career even worse. Lane did not appear in the Week 1 game versus FCS Charleston Southern, and when Florida State suffered a historic loss 63-20 to Louisville, Lane still did not see any game action. So instead of staying on the bench, Lane decided to ask the coaching staff if he could change to the defensive side of the ball. The coaches agreed, and when injuries happened to Nate Andrews and Derwin James, Lane got a shot on defense, ending his 2016 campaign with 8 games on defense, starting 5, 37 combined tackles, 2 pass breakups with 1 interception. Then senior year rolled around and Ermon Lane just pulled the exact opposite of what he did in 2016. He started the year off on defense collecting 12 tackles and 2 pass breakups, but once Florida State saw some of their receivers go down, Lane switched back to being a receiver, having 8 catches for 169 yards, so you could say he was the pre-Travis Hunter of college football. Maybe. Either way, offense or defense, Lane did not live up to his high recruit ranking. If you knew anything about Alabama football under Nick Saban, you knew he got top-tier talent such as Eyabi Okie-Anoma. Okie-Anoma was a top 10 recruit in the country in 2018, with some saying the top-ranked defensive player in the class. Freshman year in 2018, he didn't see much action as this was a loaded Alabama defense, but he did have 9 tackles with 2 TFLs, which was enough for him to be named SEC All-Freshman Team Honors, somehow. Early 2019 was looking to be a change of scenery for Eyabi. He put his name in the transfer portal where many expected him to transfer to Maryland where family was. Then just a few days later, he withdrew from the portal to stay at Bama. But it turned out, Eyabi did actually have a change of scenery in 2019, because in August, he was dismissed from the team due to off-the-field issues. Eyabi would then transfer to Houston in 2019, but did not play in the fall. Another change of scenery came in February of 2020 as he once again got dismissed from Houston for similar issues he had in Alabama. With the transfer rules at the time, he had to sit out the entire 2020 fall as well. Meaning 2021 was a new school again, and this time Eyabi went down to the FCS level to UT Martin, where he played pretty decently. He became an OVC all-newcomer team pick after recording 36 tackles, 9.5 which were for a loss, and 6 sacks on the season. But his time at UT Martin only lasted 1 season, with his new transfer to Michigan for 2022. Eyabi played in every Wolverine game, making 2 starts with stats of 18 tackles, 6.5 TFLs, along with 4.5 sacks. After what I'd say was a successful season, Okie decided to transfer to Charlotte for the 2023 season, an odd move if you didn't know the intention behind it. With Eyabi transferring to Charlotte, it paired him up with the 49ers then head coach Biff Poggi, who coached Eyabi in high school. This transfer did lead to Eyabi having his most successful college football season of his career. He was the 49ers team leader in sacks with 5.5 and TFLs with 11.5, racking up 56 tackles on the way to earning a second-team All-American Conference selection. Now Eyabi Okie-Anoma did redeem his career after the first couple seasons, but he is still a 5-star bust in my books. Another running back comes on this list with the 2019 number 1 back of John Emery Jr. for LSU. Emery came in the year LSU won the national championship, where he was able to see some decent action as a true freshman on that super team. 39 rushes for 188 yards and 4 touchdowns. His sophomore season saw LSU's offense opt for a 3-headed rushing attack. He shared the backfield with Tyrone Davis-Price and Chris Curry, leading to Emery's stats being just 378 yards and 3 touchdowns. 2021 was looking to be a battle for starting running back against just Davis-Price for Emery. However, Emery did not play the entire 21 season due to being named academically ineligible. Ouch. This academic suspension followed him into 2022 for the first 2 games, where when he came back, it was another 3-headed rushing attack in the backfield along with Jaden Daniels. Similar to his 2020 season, Emery put up 375 yards and 6 touchdowns in this system, and there was talks if Emery was going to try for the draft or transfer instead of come back, which he did enter the portal. Emery decided to come back to Baton Rouge, but where he fell well out of favor in the running back room. Through 7 games, Emery tallied a measly 121 yards, but in that 7th game, Emery suffered an ACL tear, ending his first senior season. Again, Emery entered the transfer portal but decided to come back once again to LSU. Year number 6 at LSU started off pretty decent. 10 rushes for 61 yards in the opening game for the Tigers, then sadly, Emery tore his ACL in practice the week after, sidelining him the rest of the 24 season. Emery did get granted a 7th college football season for 2025 and said he was coming back to LSU, but ended up transferring to UTSA instead for the fall, where it was a nothing burger. Just 5 total offensive snaps, another story of injuries or off-the-field issues leading to another bust. The last player on this list comes from the 2022 class committing to Texas A&M, who is Denver Harris. Harris was a 5-star defensive back out of Texas in the top 25. Freshman year started off well for Harris as he was named a starter for the Aggies, playing the first 5 games, having stats of 14 tackles and 3 pass breakups. However, after A&M's bye week, they were set to play South Carolina on October 22nd, except Harris was not in the game. It came out 3 days later that Harris and 2 of his teammates had been indefinitely suspended from the team following a locker room incident after the South Carolina game. His second suspension of the year, by the way. This led to transfer number 1 for Harris to LSU. Harris appeared in just 5 games once again, starting in 3 for 7 tackles and 2 pass breakups. Transfer number 2 came after this 2023 season, now to UTSA. He played in every game this year, but was still not a full-time starter, just 3 starts having 16 tackles and 3 pass breakups. Final transfer came for the 2025 season, moving to UNLV. Harris appeared in 3 of UNLV's first 4 games, but got injured in Game 4 versus Miami, Ohio, leading to Harris receiving a medical redshirt. He later returned in the team's bowl game, totaling just 3 tackles all season. That medical redshirt did mean he got 1 more year of college ball for this upcoming 2026 season, and he is still on UNLV according to the team's site. A side note though, his Wikipedia is actually crazy. You should look it up after this. The only stuff put on it each of these past 3 years were that he transferred to those schools and that he entered the transfer portal. Shows what the essence of a bust is in college football, but he does have 1 more year, so I can't fully call him a bust yet. As you can tell from this list, there are always 5-star busts in every recruiting class, and normally, no one has ever heard of these players. Some get unlucky with injuries during their careers, but others may have been overhyped all along. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, the subscribe button, and hitting the bell notifications. Thank you.